On May 28, 1989, a student leader named Ling requested an interview with an American journalist. At the time, Tiananmen Square was occupied by thousands of students. Martial law had been declared. No one knew what might happen. The interview was recorded with a home video camera.
These may be my last words, because the situation is becoming very grim. My name is Ling. I am 23 years old. Oddly enough, my birthday is on April 15th, the day Hu Yaobang died. In many ways, the movement is not very mature. An opportunity presented itself accidentally. No one knew Hu Yaobang was going to die when he did. I've come into contact with people from all walks of life. They feel they have no security. Many have gone overseas. I feel this country is finished. It's going to die.
The students had brought their petition and demanded that Li Peng, the prime minister, come out to accept it himself.
When we saw our classmates kneeling there, holding the petition with raised arms, everyone cried. In it were our suggestions to the government, but we had to hand it in kneeling down. No one paid any attention. No one came forward to accept it. The movement at Beijing University also reached a low point. More and more students returned to class. A lot of energy was wasted debating whether we should go back to class or not. I felt increasingly frustrated. Once we were chatting, I said, "How many years do political offenders get?" Someone said it used to be 3 years, then it was increased to 5 years, then 7, and then 17 years. I felt very sad. If I got 17 years, I'd be 40 by the time I got out. I really didn't want that to happen. Wang Dan told me about the hunger strike, and I immediately signed on. Then we tried to persuade the leaders of the independent student unions, but some of them were firmly opposed to a hunger strike. I think they have a tendency towards opportunism. I said, "We are staging a hunger strike in order to reveal the true face of the government and the true face of the people. We want to see whether the Chinese have any conscience, whether there is any hope for China." If the government can simply stand by and watch, while the students' lives slowly waste away like this, we will have to take even more drastic measures. We will set ourselves on fire. If the government is callous enough to see these children starve to death, then I will be the first to die. I said this over the loudspeakers. I said I was willing to be the commander-in-chief. I don't remember my exact words. I said the only criterion for a person to join the hunger strike leadership was a willingness to be the first to die, so that other students could live on. Many students do not understand that the square is our only stronghold. Some people have repeatedly advocated that we leave, but that could only please the government. What makes me really sad is that I am the commander-in-chief, and I can't let go of this power because I must resist compromise, resist these traitors. The leaders of the independent student unions of Beijing and of the provinces are all after my power. I used to believe that we could establish democratic processes, and then a lot of people could use science to really help our country. But now I've come to realize that unless we overthrow this inhuman government, our country will have no hope. our people will have no hope. The people who made the decision to leave the square on May 30th had a very negative effect on the movement. I attended the meeting, but I didn't realize at the time how harmful the decision would be. The real issue at the meeting was that some people were trying to use the movement to make themselves famous, and we opposed this. I want to say to everyone that the square is our only stronghold. If we lose it, the conservatives will overrun China.
现任那个保卫天门指挥部的总指挥。我们要以这种全球的华人的力量来抗议戒严。4天实不了，10天实不了，1年实不了，100年也实不了。这是民主国家，民主国家。
On the following morning, May 28th, Ling contacted the freelance journalist Philip Cunningham.
The students keep asking, what should we do next? What can we accomplish? I feel so sad, because how can I tell them that what we are actually hoping for is bloodshed? For the moment when the government has no choice but to brazenly butcher the people. Only when the square is awash with blood will the people of China open their eyes. Only then will they really be united. But how can I explain any of this to my fellow students? And what is truly sad is that some students and some famous, well-connected people are working hard to help the government, to prevent it from taking such measures. For the sake of their selfish interests and their private dealings, they are trying to cause our movement to collapse and get us out of the square before the government becomes so desperate that it takes action. If we allow the movement to collapse on its own, then the government will be able to wipe out all the leaders of the movement, as well as those leaders in the party and in the military who dare to oppose them, who represent the people. Deng Xiaoping has made it very clear that there is a small handful of people not only in the party and in society, but also among the students. That's why I feel so sad, because I can't say all this to my fellow students. I can't tell them straight out that we must use our blood and our lives to call on the people to rise up. Of course the students will be willing, but they are still such young children.
我具体不知道绑架这个事件，但是我在这之前，我听到了一些反应，一些同学，特别是学士团同学的反应，他们对柴玲和这个李璐以及冯春德同学的几位领导同志吧，他们对工作上的失误以及财务上的混乱表示有很多的意见。他们可能采取一些过激的行为，这个一点我已经很清楚。但是他们采取这种方法，我是完全不同意的。
请柴玲同学你说说你对这一次绑架的原因，你怀疑是什么原因呢？
我想，种种迹象表明这是一场有组织、有预谋的计划。种种迹象表明，而且我们已经得到一些消息，就是政府已经在收买一批学生中的便捷分子，主要他们想大力的破坏和削减广场的组织领导力量，让整个葬送我们这项学院。
谢谢你。请问一下，就是这两个。
Ling, who eventually escaped from China, taped a message on June 8th and got it out to Hong Kong television.
可是我们事后才知道，竟然有一些同学，他们对这个政府、对这支军队还抱有希望，他们以为顶多是军队把大家强行的架走，他们太疲劳了，还在帐篷里酣睡的时候，坦克已经把他们碾成了肉饼。有人说同学死了200多，也有人讲整个广场已经死了4000多。具体的数字到现在我们也不知道。
Chai Ling's 40-minute message ended with a call for the Chinese people to rise up.
越是法西斯丧心病狂的镇压的时候，那么一个真正的人民的民主的共和国也就要诞生了，民主存亡。最后的关头已经到来了，同胞们觉醒起来吧，打倒法西斯，打倒军人统治，人民必胜。